Okay, I'm going to go ahead and record. That way, if you're not quite ready or you want to play back something, I'm going to share with you a lot of information. But you can always go ahead and re-listen to this. Mastermind was an amazing event, and so I'm thankful that I am privileged to share what our takeaways were from this event. So those of you that don't know who I am Jamie Holbert, and I'm an Emerald Ambassador with Plexus, and I am on Melissa's team and Kim Tharp's team, and I just am so excited to share with you some of these takeaways. For those of you that don't know what Mastermind is, it is a network marketing event once a year for all the different network marketing companies. So it was not just Plexus that was there. And the tools that we got for our businesses are just, I cannot put a value on them. So if you have the opportunity to go next year, I really, really suggest that you make a plan right now to go next November, because it was amazing. So I'm going to go through these slides. There were a number of different speakers, and I'm going to share with you what we took away from day one. Our first speaker, hold on, my slide is not going there. Our first speaker was a man by the name of Randy Gage, and he was by far one of my favorite speakers. He spoke a couple of times during the conference, so you'll see his name a couple of different times on our slideshow. So one of the things that he opened the conference with was this thought-provoking question. And I want all of you to ask yourself this right now. Are you the same rank you are today that you were 6 months ago? Are you the same rank today as you were a year ago? If you've been in this business longer than a year, are you still where you were 6 months ago? For those of you that are a little newer, are you in the same place that you were last month even? And this could be just with the number of team members on your team, the number of customers. Are you staying where you're at, or are you moving forward? So we're going to look at some ways to get out of that rut. And he shared, how is it possible for you to be in the same place, whether it was 6 months ago or a year ago, when we have such an amazing team? I believe we have an amazing team, but we also have strategies like the power of 3, where you sponsor 3 and you teach and train your team to sponsor 3. This has exponential possibilities, and yet we are seeing ourselves become stagnant. So I'm going to challenge you to get your business in gear. What is preventing you from being where you need to be? Ask yourself seriously, what is preventing you? Is it your Netflix show? Is it commitments you have made? What is preventing you from getting where you need to be? If you want to be an Emerald by July 31st and go to Hawaii with us, what is holding you back? If you want to be a certain rank by the end of 2015, what is preventing you from getting there? Plexus will be a successful company with or without you. And I think that's something we don't realize. We think that if I don't do this, Plexus will not be successful. But it will still be successful with or without you. But it's up to you to decide to get all in. You have to make that choice to be there. Plexus is the vehicle that will take you to your dreams and your goals, but you are the one that has to decide to get in the car to get there. If you're going to stand and watch it, it will keep driving by. It will not wait for you. So here's a news flash for you. If you're not being rejected in your business, you're not doing the business. We always say go for no. The reason why is if you're not being rejected, chances are you're not making that effort to grow your business. You're not talking to 5 people a day. You're not following up with 3 customers or 3 ambassadors or your list of 100. If you're not being rejected by somebody, and you will, it's okay, because you will be rejected, then you're not working the business. So we need to make sure that we're really making that conscious effort to do the business. So I don't want you to just think about those ones that say no, though, because it's so easy to focus on, oh man, I asked this person and they shut me down right away. Or I talked to my best friend, she would be amazing at this, and she said no. We cannot dwell on the negative. We need to think about those that said yes. Those people that are going to change their lives financially, those people that are going to change their lives with health. By us focusing on the ones that said yes, that changes our outlook on our business and fuels our drive and our passion to keep going. It fuels our downline and it inspires them. So ask yourself, do you really have a fear of success and not know it? I know it's easy to say, I would love to be a diamond. I would love to be emerald. But there's something that's holding you back that's preventing you from getting there. So chances are you might be a fear of success and don't really know it. Don't allow your subconscious thoughts and beliefs sabotage you. That's why we say all the time about writing that positive affirmations and speaking life into your business, because so often we have the negative going into our subconscious and we don't realize it. If you were told that you can't have that, that is a subconscious negative thought that is holding you back from your success. And you need to get that out because it's holding you back from your dreams. So how do we move forward from this? We talked about things that are holding us back. We've got to let it go and we've got to press on. Where do we go from here? Well, first we need to get real with ourselves. And sometimes that is the hardest thing. We think there's nothing wrong. It's not me. It is my team. It is my customers. It is the back office. Everything is not us. But honestly, we ourselves get sidetracked. What is really holding you back? We cannot blame it on our customers, on our team. It starts with us, and we have to get real with what are we doing. We need to become the person who is comfortable leading. If you are waiting for somebody to lead your team, it's you. You need to be the one leading your team. Even if you have just one ambassador on your team, you are their leader. You need to become comfortable leading. If you're not comfortable yet, you need to get comfortable. Do a little research. Nobody is born into a plexus rock star who has all of the answers. But you become this person on the journey by being comfortable and gaining confidence. And you have got to love with what you're doing. I fully believe that those of us that ranked fast in the company did that because we absolutely loved what we're doing. We love sharing. We love providing for our teams. We love helping and seeing them rank. And we're just eager for more and more and more. And so we're going to become that person we want. You need to also develop those leadership skills, which will develop your people skills. If you're not that people person, it's okay. You need to develop your leadership skills, though, and that is an ongoing process. You're not going to know it overnight. You have got to develop it. The number one issue in our business is often people issues. It is our biggest area of struggle. And it's across the board. It's not just, oh, I'm at the bottom of the rank or I'm at the top of the rank. It's everywhere. We struggle a lot of time with people, with grumpy people, with people that rub us the wrong way, you name it. But we as leaders, we are all leaders, have to show our team what character is. You know the saying, do what I say, but not as I do. You need to show your team through the action. you need to do for your team. Self-discipline. What are your dreams? Go after your dreams. Don't make a big dream board and say, go after your dreams. I'm not going to go after mine, but I want you to go after yours. You go after your dreams. Many times we tell our leaders that we're going to help you lead your team. One of the biggest takeaways I had this weekend was not just learning to lead my team, because when your team grows, my team has over 3,000 people. It is impossible to lead that many people to success. But if you focus on leading your people to lead people, this is where the magic happens. You're not ever going to have to worry about being successful, because you're going to be developing the character which will make you become the person who leads and inspires your team. And it's going to be duplicated over and over and over again. If I lead my strong leg to lead their people, I'm not going to have to worry about them anymore. If I focus on every time somebody turns gold, and I'm going to not just congratulate them, you're a leader, you have a team, but they are trained to lead their team and focus on developing their team to lead others, you are going to grow your team exponentially and bigger than you ever imagined it. And then lastly, you have to let go of the person you have been. The person you have been when you started, all your failures, all of that. Let it go and become the person you are meant to be. You are all amazing Plexus Rockstar ambassadors, and you need to act like it. Do not hold on to, oh, well, I talked to Sally and she just shut me down. So what? She's not ready yet. You need to focus on the person you were meant to be. So one of the founders of this mastermind, his name is Art Jonak, and he was one of the other speakers. And he came up with this little graphic, and this little circle graph represents something that typically we may not think about, and that is a typical American week. You can see that 33% is spent sleeping. Some of us may have less, especially if you have young children. But look at this 18% free time and entertainment. That's a pretty big piece of the pie. The average American spends 5 hours a day watching TV. I know it's so easy to get sucked in to episodes of Parenthood or Gilmore Girls or whatever show you're watching, but that show is not paying you money. That show is not income producing activity, and it is not going to get this working 24% piece of the pie to go away. Your free time, you have got to use it wisely. You're going to make small sacrifices for the huge end result. And so it adds up. If you were to log what you do every day for the next week, I bet you would be surprised what you're spending your time on. Look at how much time do you actually spend working your Plexus business. Do you spend it scrolling through Facebook and liking different people's posts? That's not income producing activity. I know it's so easy when you go on to make a post on Facebook and you see somebody post a really cute video, and then it kind of like squirrel, you sidetracked, you go now onto YouTube, and you've lost your momentum. It's so easy to get sucked in. I challenge you to write down for a whole week what you do. When you watch TV, what are you watching? How long are you watching? And then what are you doing on your Plexus business? Focus and ask yourself, is this going to grow my business when I'm doing it? Is this planting seeds for future ambassadors or customers? Or is it just sort of stuff I like to call working my business, but it really isn't? So an entrepreneur spends their time pursuing their dreams. That time that you spend in this free time area, working your business is actually going to buy back your time later. I absolutely agree with this 100%. If I can work this business with 5 kids and teaching high school, I put in extra time. This free time, it was so nice to just want to chill and veg at night, but instead I worked and it grew my business so that I can stay home this year. I have bought back my time and it feels awesome. And I think that if you spend the little bit of time being consistent, actively working your business, it will pay off better than you imagined in the long run, and it will be faster than you probably imagined. Small sacrifices for the greater good. So we need to redefine what we think of success. So I want you to think about this. This was kind of eye-opening to me. Are you not happy making $1,000 a month with Plexus? I've had many people say, I'm just not making the money I thought I was going to make. If you make less than $1,000 a month, think about what you probably would have been doing in that space with Plexus. If you're not happy with what you're making, or you're not going as fast as maybe you would like to go, you're not ranking as fast as you would like to go, we need to redefine what success really is. Here's some food for thought. Let's say you are making $1,000 a month in your Plexus business. What does that look like in terms of real world economy? So you're getting frustrated, you're tempted to just walk out. This is not working for me. $1,000 a month with Plexus is equivalent to $200,000 in the bank at 6.25% interest over 5 years. In other words, if you invested this $1,000 a month into a bank that gave you 6.25% interest, in 5 years, that $1,000 would be worth $200,000. So in essence, you're walking out on a $200,000 investment. And that's if you just stay stagnant for 5 years. We all know that you're going to continue to work and grow. So really that number is a lot bigger that you're truly walking out on. What if, so are you willing to walk away from $200,000 or go back to where you were? I often think about, man, if I had not found Plexus, where would I be at? I know where I would be at, and I do not want to go back there. It was taxing on my family. It was taxing on myself, and it sucked. And I just don't want to do that. And so that propels me forward. Are you ready to push on towards that goal and increase the amount, or are you kind of just content camping out in complacency? So would it be worth it to you to make $1 million in 5 years? Let's think about that. $1 million, that's a lot of money. Would it be worth it to you to work this business for 5 years if you earned $1 million? What would that look like with Plexus income? To save $1 million without working Plexus, you just want to save it, you would need to put away $16,000 a month for 5 years. Don't know about you, but I do not have $16,000 laying around every single month that is just free money. And you need to do that for 5 years to add up to $1 million. Or you can choose to break through your strongholds and work Plexus. And by earning just $5,000 a month each month, that is equivalent to $1 million at 6.25% interest just over 5 years. So think about that. At $5,000 a month, that is, I make more than that at Emerald. So that's not the top of the rank. That's probably middle ground. A lot of people make $5,000 a month, gold, senior gold. It all depends on your customer base. But think about that. You're not ranking up fast enough. You're frustrated. I'm going to walk out. You're walking out on $1 million in 5 years. That's some serious money that we're leaving behind because we don't want to push through. So, the richest you will ever feel is when you don't owe anyone any money. You could make $1 million and be still in debt up to your eyeballs. You could make $5,000 and have no debt. So here is my challenge to our team. I don't want us to make millions of dollars and have all of these fancy cars if we're in debt. Myself, I have student loans, and they are like I am chained to my bed and cannot go anywhere. Oops. So let's make a plan to become completely debt-free. That includes your house, your cars, whatever. I want you to dream big. Put down on your notes the biggest debt you have. Student loans, your mortgage, your cars. What is it? Huge debt. Let's get it out. What an accomplishment and a definition of success would that be? To say, I have no debt. Zero. Earn your time back and have more freedom. Do not be a slave to debt. So one of my other favorite people was Orrin and Lori Woodsward, and I absolutely loved them because they have a great financial mindset. They really springboarded off of what Art was saying about being debt-free. And they have some great books for teens that you might want to check out. If you just Google them on Amazon, it'll bring up a lot of their books. So they first talked a lot about leadership, though, because a lot of times we think about leadership as, what am I doing? How am I leading my team? And it's not really the how. It's the who you are. And money doesn't change people. It reveals who they really are. Have you ever noticed how sometimes when people make a ton of money, they all of a sudden change? It was really who they were the whole time. It's just now it's out in the open. Leadership is who you are, regardless of if you are making 1 penny or millions of pennies. So when you go to sleep at night, I want you to just be excited. You're going to wake up wealthier the next morning because you are working your plexus business. That is the key of residual income. It's not a paycheck we have to go timestamp. It is working while we are sleeping. It is working while we are on vacation. It is constantly working if we put the time in. So that's how we are going to break out of the financial matrix, which I'm going to explain in a minute. We have the justification, though, especially in our American society, that we're going to be in debt anyways, always, so why not overspend? The world tells us that debt is normal and it's okay. Buy now, pay later. It's okay to have 3 car payments and a house payment and $50 million in credit card debt. Obviously, that's an exaggeration, but it is vital to know the difference between an investment and an expense. This mastermind conference, we had to budget it out. It was an investment. It was not an expense. I can justify why I need 5 new pairs of shoes. It is not an investment. It is an expense. Look at your spending. If you're saying, well, I just can't make it to Super Saturday, I don't have $20, I'm sorry. You need to come up with $20 and be at Super Saturday. You need to come up with the $80 to be at convention. These are investments for your business. There's no reason why we cannot save $80 over the course of several months when we are spending on other expenses like shoes we don't need, clothes we don't need, fast food we don't need. A look at what we're doing that is really growing our business and what is really hindering us back. It's the key to have short-term denials. I'm only going to eat out on Sundays. I am not going to buy 5 new pairs of sandals. I'm not going to get my car washed every week. Those short-term denials are going to give you these long-term dreams. By denying yourself little things, and sometimes they're hard. When I became Emerald, I felt the pressure to get the Plexus Lexus. But for our family, it is not practical. We have 5 kids. We don't fit in it. It would sit on the street. And I would be paying insurance on a car that does not go anywhere. It's a short-term denial for my long-term dream because it is driving me to go to Diamond for the bigger car. So let these denials drive you in your business. You want that bigger house, let it drive you. Put it on your dream board. You have to learn not to spend if money. If it's not in the account, don't spend it. In other words, if somebody is going to owe you a check for $30, don't spend the $30 before it comes into your bank. We have a huge habit of doing that with credit cards. And debt is like trying to run up the down escalator when it's moving. We need to live below our income and compound the difference. I know that we think we're in network marketing. We are supposed to have the greatest and latest clothes, shoes, cars, houses. But if you look at the people that have the nice houses and the nice clothes, most often it's because they have made those short-term denials, and that has compounded their interest and their income to now have the long-term dreams of their house, of their dream cars. They're buying back their time. So I talked about what this financial matrix is. Oh, wait, one more thing. Don't maximize your expenses and minimize your investments. We tend to justify our expenses and make excuses as to why we cannot invest. And it needs to stop. If we're going to grow in our business, we've got to just not do that. All right, so this financial matrix, Orrin Woodward came up with, and it is a really neat matrix to kind of see where all the money goes in the world. And it's caught up in this financial matrix, and you have 3 groups of people. You have the people, the consumers, you and me and everyone else. You have businesses down here, and then you have the lovely government over here. We all pay interest on stuff. We pay interest on loans, on cars, you name it. The government pays interest on the money it borrows, and businesses pay interest on anything they borrow. So one of the cool facts that he brought up was in 1971, the U.S. debt was only $2.2 trillion. By 2014, the U.S. debt was $54 trillion. It like astronomically increased exponentially. So what happened? Well, the businesses, in order to cover the interest they are paying on things, and the governments to cover their interest, they charge the businesses taxes. So the businesses are paying interest and they're paying taxes to the government. So what do businesses have to do? They have to raise prices on their goods and services to cover their expenses. They have to pay their taxes and their interest. They have to raise their prices. Well, the government also needs taxes from the people to fix roads, for schools, anything, taxes. So if you notice, the government is receiving 2 things, taxes. The people, we aren't receiving anything. We are paying. So our best defense from getting caught up in this financial matrix is to eliminate our debt. If we have no debt, we are not going to have to pay interest on it. If we are just paying our taxes to the government, I know you cannot escape that one, but we can attack this financial matrix by eliminating our own personal debt. They were saying that the average college student has about $90,000 in debt when they graduate college. I am not one of those huge statistics, but I do have a lot of college debt, and it is crippling when you're trying to start a family and you have this huge debt weighing over your head. So that brings us to our next speaker, who is John Addison. And I loved how these guys just sort of flowed on with each other. John Addison kind of brought life to this. You're kind of depressed over finances, and he said, this is your life. You do not get a do-over, but you have to fight for what you want to achieve. If you are complacent where you're at, this is your life. It's not somebody else's. Don't live somebody else's dream. If you're working for a boss and it's not your dream job, you're living his dream. Live your dream, but it's not going to happen overnight. It's not going to fall from the sky. You have to fight for it if you want it enough. Success is not a matter of chance. It didn't just happen to me because I happen to work at the same school as Melissa. It didn't happen to Melissa because she knew Ariel from Baylor and we happened to be in at the right time. It didn't happen. How do you become successful? The first way is to be a people attractor. Every action you do, whether we realize it or not, either attracts people to us or it repels them away. They have the subconscious, oh, I really like what she's saying, or, oh, I cannot believe that. You have got to watch what you say and how you act, especially representing our business. The scarcest type of resource in network marketing is passionate leaders who want to help someone else. We get a lot of leaders that really want to help themselves. We get a lot of leaders that want to help someone else, but rarely do we get somebody that is truly passionate. You have got to love what you do. Success demands a price. I did not get to Emerald by watching Netflix, grading math papers, and sleeping. If it sounds too easy, it must be sleazy. And that is true. You have to put a value on what you're doing. It's going to take a price. I'm not saying sacrifice everything. There's balance, but you have to know that there is a price. If you want to move up, what are you willing to give up momentarily, those short-term denials, in order to have success? You have to attract people towards you. It starts with you. It does not start with your team. You cannot blame your lack of growth on your team. You cannot wait for that rock star. It starts with you. You cannot wait for circumstances to be happy or to start the business. It's a daily choice you have to make. You can't say, well, it's great today. I'm going to work my business this month. Things are going great. Or last month with the back office. Oh, man, the back office, it was so many headaches. I'm just not going to do it. It's not for me. It starts with you. You have a choice to embrace the growth, the growing pains. We are an amazing company that is growing. What we experienced last month were growing pains, and I'd rather deal with it because I know where Plexus is going to be in 5, 10, 20 years. Embrace adversity. Quitting is a way of life for most people. Think about it. There's always that out. Winning takes courage. You don't see people win the Super Bowl by quitting. You don't see them walk up the day before practice for the season, never working out for the year. It takes courage to win. Do you have that courage? Success is never final. Failure is not fatal. It is the courage to continue that counts. I want you to think about that for a moment, because we often think, oh yeah, I've got success. I reached Emerald. I reached Diamond. I won this November to Remember $1,000 contest. I did it. It's not final. And failure is not fatal. If you failed, it's okay. Get back up. It's the courage to continue that counts in your business. And that's what you need to focus on. So, how do you be a leader who develops leaders. Remember, we talked about not just being a leader, but being a leader who develops their team to also be leaders. So duplication, you're going to keep doing this. They're going to keep doing this. This is how you get to the top. You have to be a lighthouse, not a weather vane. Think about what a lighthouse is versus a weather vane. You are needed to guide your teams when it's raining and storming outside. You're leading your team to a better place. A weather vane gets moved around in the wind. It is not stable. It is always all over the place. Do not be a wave driven in the sea, but be strong and lead your teams, no matter how stormy it is outside. Turn your fears into fuel. Let these fears of talking to people be fuel for yourself to get over those fears. Allow your fears to be what drives you forward. Don't allow them to be a hindrance to hold you back. It's an amazing feeling when we overcome our fears. If you have a fear of talking in front of people, I encourage you to give your testimony at an opportunity meeting. If you have a fear of meeting strangers, I encourage you the next time you're in line at the grocery store to listen to the people talking around you and introduce yourself and tell them about what we have that can help them. Titles are temporary and cemeteries are full of important people. You could be the #1 earner in network marketing, and guess what? One day you're going to be buried in the ground just like George Washington, Thomas Jefferson, all of these important people. I say that because you need to allow what you do matter. We are changing lives. We are in the business where people are being set free from financial struggle, from being one paycheck away from bankruptcy. We are in the business of allowing a mom or a dad to stay home with their kids, of allowing somebody's father or grandfather to live a longer life because they no longer have to take diabetic medication. Don't just strive to be at the top. What we do matters no matter what rank you're at. Think about the lives you're changing. If you're only focusing about moving up to diamond, you're going to get discouraged because you're forgetting about all of the people you are changing. Even if you're a brand new ambassador and you just now signed today, you better get ready for an amazing ride because you are in the business of changing lives, no matter where you are at. As a leader, you set the tone and the pace for your team. Your job is to provide an atmosphere of growth. So think a little bit about the atmosphere you providing. Are you an absentee leader who's kind of made it to gold and checked out a little bit and allowed her team to leave or his team to lead? Or are you a hands-on leader that is continually striving growth? It's easier to grow weeds than it is to grow flowers. You can plant flowers, but if you leave it unattended, it will grow weeds. Tend to your teams. That is your garden. Even if you have just one flower, you need to tend to it because if you don't, the weeds will come in, it will choke it out, and it will die. So you want to also be a leader that wants to change this world. When I was teaching, I had this quote in the front of my classroom: be the change that you want to see in the world. It's not easy to win. Don't apologize for it to be hard. If you have a new ambassador and you're like, it's so easy, you're going to make $5,000 a month. Don't do that. It's not easy. It takes work. It may not be hard compared to the work you're doing at your 9-to-5 job, but don't paint this easy picture because your new ambassadors are going to get frustrated. Life itself is not easy, and I'm in it to win it. I'm not in it to just be there. You want to look for the people who want to go to the top. Not everyone who shows interest is going to join your business. We have a habit of no matter who we talk to, we're going to sign them up. Not everybody needs to be an ambassador. Not everyone who joins your team really wants to put in the work to go to the top. They have many people that are going to join your team who really don't want to go to the top, whether they're holding back from success or whatever the stronghold may be. But understand, not every single person wants to put in that work to go to the top. We need to be looking for the people who want to change other people's lives, not people who want to be comfortable. I don't ever want to be comfortable in this business no matter how much I make, because I'm not in it for the income. I want to always strive more. I want to help people stay home, have financial freedom, and have freedom in their health. So you are a leader. You have vision, purpose, you have people. Take your job seriously. We also got to hear from Big Al, who, if you were at convention, may remember him. And he gave us this illustration. This illustration of 5%, 90%, and 5% represents all the people that we are going to come in contact when we talk to people about our business. We have 5% of people who are just waiting for us to show up to join. They are ready to rock it. They have their plan. They're just waiting for somebody to really invite them to something that's amazing. But only 5%. Remember, I said not everybody's going to want to go to the top. There's only 5%. There's also another 5% of people who have no desire to join ever. So don't force them to join their team, because chances are you forcing them to join your team is going to burn them out. And a happy customer is now going to be an unhappy, angry ambassador. There is this 90% happy middle. These are these people who are looking for somebody to follow, someone who knows where to go, and someone who has the skills to take them there. Guess what? That's you. You are the person. And the biggest thing is your prospects, the people you are talking to, can smell incompetence. If you are not comfortable sharing the comp plan, get comfortable with it. They can tell. They're not going to want to follow you if you don't understand how to make money, because then they're not going to. If you are not versed in what our products do and how they help people, and you're sharing with somebody that needs our products, they're not going to buy it from you or join your team, because they don't know that you know how to help them. So how do you help people make a decision? Did you know that people are programmed and trained not to make a decision? Think about it. If we say, oh, I'll get back to you later, or let me think about that, a lot of times it's because we've had bad decisions in the past. Maybe the situation is looking similar, so we don't want to make a decision there because I've had bad experiences. Maybe it's your parents telling you, you better not ever do that because this will happen. It's training and it's programming. So when you don't make a decision, you're actually making a decision, though. By saying, well, I don't know, you're deciding. You're deciding to not make a decision. And sometimes we need to make our prospects aware of this. If we're talking to somebody and they seem ready to either join as a customer or an ambassador, and they tell you something like, well, let me just think about it. I don't want to make a decision right now. They just did make a decision. So how do we work through this? How do we get them to not only understand this, but to make a better decision? So the first rule of communication that we need to remember is to listen to people, especially our prospects. If we're talking too much, we're not listening to them, we may seem insensitive, and that really is a turnoff to the people that we're talking to. So if somebody tells you, I need to think it over, we're going to use this phrase, this specific one, as just for training purposes. But anything along these lines, this is what you're going to do to kind of guide you through that. First, your reply to them is, and a lot of times you want to maybe touch their shoulder or touch their elbow, because studies shown that that physical touch leads to a higher percentage of making a good decision because you are being relatable. So don't just stand back. Make sure you kind of touch them on the shoulder or the hand or the elbow. Don't be all huggy in their bubble. Keep their bubble intact. But you want to say something like, relax. It's okay to make a decision not to join. And then you want to give negative reasons. But it is also okay to make a decision to join for some positive reasons. So let's think of an example. Let's say you're talking to somebody and they've been talking about how they've been in chronic pain. And they reply with, well, I just need to think it over. You might say something like, oh, relax. It's okay not to make a decision to join right now. You're still going to be feeling that pain and feeling hurt when you wake up, the stiffness. But it is also okay to make a decision to join. I have some really great products, I believe, that can help you. You see, you're kind of reminding them of whatever you were talking about, but you're also encouraging them because we have the products to help them. So after you talk to them and they respond, whatever their response is, if they still say, okay, sometimes they need to dwell on that. You might want to take a day and then follow them up with, great, think it over, take all the time you want to think about this decision that they just made. But could you do me a favor? The next time you're in pain, needing energy, worrying about finances, whatever their reason was that you were talking to them about, would you please contact me? Because what is going to happen is when they wake up in pain, they're going to think about that conversation you just had and think, they're going to be more aware of their pain, and they're going to think to themselves, man, I need to contact this person because, yeah, it really is not okay waking up every day like this. Maybe I should give it a try. Or if they are worried about their finances and the next time they want to do something and they just don't have the money, they are going to think about that experience you gave them, and they're going to call you up or email you or Facebook you. So you want to really work on rehearsing this. Maybe rehearse it with your team so that you're not stumbling over it. Think of some different things that you have talked to prospects about, whether it's pain, whether it's financial opportunity, whether it's the diabetic, whether it's just more energy, weight loss. Think about those things and come up with some good negative reasons. You don't want the person to feel shamed. You just want to remind them of their current situation, that by not joining, by not becoming a customer, they're going to be right where they are at. Then you want to add into that the positives, that you will feel healthier, you will have the money to do this. So those, I think, are some amazing tips for us to really grow our business and help these people understand that they're making a decision. Our next section is on commitment. And this was by Dana Collins. I forgot to write her last name. And this is very near and dear to my heart because I feel like we say we are committed when our actions do not show we are committed. I want you to think about your calendar. Your calendar reflects what you're actually committed to. When we want something, we commit to it and we put action to it. Do you really want this opportunity, or do you just say you want it? Because your actions are going to show it. Do you make excuses for opportunity meetings, for Super Saturday, for convention? Look at your calendar and think about, what are you really working towards? Our commitment directs our destiny. Your commitment can change the course of people you have not met. I think about, if I had not said yes, I would not have this opportunity for Janelle to stay at home with baby Sophia. If she had not said yes, then Stephanie would not have the opportunity to stay at home with her boys, and it goes on and on. I had not known Stephanie before Plexus. My commitment changed her circle and her world. By her saying yes, it has changed people she hadn't met, and so on. We have got to stop thinking about just us. It's not about us. It's about the lives of the people we don't know. There are 5 levels of commitment. And as I'm going through these, I want you to kind of do a mental check. Where are you at? The first one is try. I'll try this business. I'll try this opportunity. I'll try it for a month. I'll try to go to convention. I will try to rank gold, but we'll see. It's up to my team. Trying is the weakest form of commitment. It has very little success because there is little action. There's no responsibility. It's kind of like that. If I do it, I do it. If I don't, oh well. I don't care. And it's the weakest form. You are not going to be successful if you just try. Number 2 is attemptee. These are the people that join the gym but never actually go. Or the women I always see on Fridays up in Target wearing workout clothes with their hair and makeup all nice. I know they did not go to the gym. They just look like they went to the gym with their clothes. These people, they're better than trying. They kind of have that one foot in the door, but there's no sense of priority. They are living life by default, not by design. They respond to others' priorities and putting their needs above your own business. In other words, you have on your calendar to go to the opportunity meeting, but then a friend calls you and says, hey, do you want to go do this? And you forget about the opportunity meeting and you go do this other thing. So your priorities are not in line. You have a diffused focus because you're kind of all over the place. You have good intentions, but intentions are not going to build this business. Number 3 is the convinced heart. This is where the majority of people are at, and we often get stuck here. This is where we believe in network marketing, not just ourselves. We believe in the big picture, and we're worried about other people's feelings and thoughts. But that's kind of it. To have more, you have to become more. We don't want to press through. We don't want to get uncomfortable. We don't want to offend somebody. But we need to get over ourselves and get all in. You can be a great manager. Oops, I didn't finish that one. And a terrible leader. So it's very easy to manage people, but managing people is not going to make you a good leader. So I'm sorry, that cut off. It should say leader. Number 4, you have the mindset of it'll happen because I will make it happen. So that you're a little bit more in. You believe that there is some action to be had, but you're not quite all there yet. You believe that you can do it. You know that I have a vision, I'm going to get it. But the 5th most committed person is the journey. This is where it's not the destination, it's the journey. It's not, I'm going to be emerald, I'm going to be diamond. It's, what am I going to do along that way? This is not a, I've reached the finish line business, because there are always going to be people needing our products and needing our opportunity. You need to realize it is the profession. It's what we do. You don't say, like I had a hard time switching gears. I would say I was a teacher, which is true. But I am a Plexus ambassador. I change people's lives. And it's a profession. You are happy for other people's success. It's not a race. It's not, you're not going to compare, because comparison is a thief of joy. You're about the journey. You see the difference the company can make, and you want a part of it. You see that I can be financially free, and I want it, and I will not be stopped. Don't let comfort keep you from your dream. Remember I told you to think about those big debts? Don't let being comfortable keep you from that. There's so much more we can have and do if we are willing to get out and be uncomfortable. Okay, Darnell Self is growing a big team, and we're almost done. So I know that a lot of us, we may have a huge team, and some of us may have a really small team. This is for everybody. Whether you already have a big team, you want to keep that momentum going, or you're just starting. This is going to help you. A lot of times, we as leaders recognize productivity, rank advancements, signing ambassadors, and all of that. But we also need to recognize activity. More specifically, the activity you are looking for during that season, which we're going to talk about in a minute. So if you're wanting to really build up your customer growth for convention credits, and this goes for you too, not just your team. If you're wanting to have your team post daily, host meetings, you need to recognize that, because these things of activities lead to productivity. You're going to recognize that we have different people on our teams. Certain contests don't appeal to the majority because it's not what motivates them. There are 4 different types of people generally in the network marketing business. People that will work for gifts, people that will work for just shout outs, hey, you did a good job, people that will work for your time, hey, let's go out to lunch, let's go out, let's Zoom online. And some people just don't know yet. They need a little time to figure it out. So be patient. Don't just write them off that they don't want to do it. They just need to figure out what works. Not everybody is the same. So you cannot, as a leader, be doing one thing. You need to be a dynamic leader and lead multiple different ways. You need to celebrate these activities that you're wanting your team to do, because then it leads them to massive productivity. By gaining more customers, those customers are going to turn into ambassadors, which are going to help them rank up. So you don't want to just focus on the rank advancements, because some people don't know how to get there. Focus on those small steps, and that's going to help you. By recognizing these small wins as big wins, it sets your team up for success. These are future millionaires, and everyone started somewhere. Guess what? Celeste Gwynn, the double diamond, she started as an ambassador. She started with 1 customer, with 1 ambassador. And we all have that potential to be the double diamond if we celebrate our small wins, because they're going to snowball into big wins. People need someone with confidence to follow. So you need to be that person. Be their leader. And then I'm going to kind of give you an example. I wrote revolving door example. So Darnell Self gave this example when he was at a hotel, not the hotel we were at, but they had a revolving door, and there was a line of people behind it. And there was one next to it. It had no sign on it, but there was no line, and it appeared to be not working. So he had a choice to make. It always starts with a choice. Do I wait in line here? I know this is working. Or do I try this other one and look like an idiot if it doesn't work and be embarrassed? Or can I go for it, and what if it does work? So he gave this example. He's walking towards the door that nobody is in line for, and he's thinking to himself how embarrassed he would be if it didn't work. But he has that choice to be the leader. And he gets up to the door, and the door works. And that line, half those people in that line moved over to follow him, because he set that example that it had not been done. He walked through this door. Yes, there was insecurity. He could have failed. He could have been embarrassed. But he took that risk to do it, and then the rest of the people followed. So you want to be that person. When you make a decision to succeed, people are going to follow you. You need to set your own self up to dream big and decide to go all in. We have the opportunity to build an organization that will live far on after we are gone. And if your expectation is to build a huge organization, know that not everyone is going to follow you. Always lead looking forward, but never turn around, because it's going to confuse those who are following you. Your team is going to stop growing because you went back to try to take the person who is not going to follow you instead of leading the people who do. There are people that are waiting on you to grow up in the business. Or, I'm sorry, there are people who are waiting to grow up in this business. But in reality, it's holding us back. We're waiting for them to, oh, you just need to do this. You're almost there. But it's holding us back. We cannot take every single person to the top. Not every single person wants to go to the top. You need to practice gaining confidence in yourself, your business, and your goals. People are going to follow you if you have confidence. This is the last slide. And it's Bob Burke. And he had some real awesome truths. Being nice does not make you successful. It is so true. We often associate, well, I'm nice, I should be successful, but it really does not work that way. You're nice, and that's great, but it doesn't matter. It does not earn you income. It does not help you build your business. It may attract people to you, but you have to take it beyond being nice. You need to conduct your business with excellence. You need to understand the products, what they do, and the comp plan. If you don't know these, learn about them. There's no magic wand. You're not born into Plexus knowing everything. You need to learn it. Make people you talk to feel good about themselves. Then they're going to want to learn more. Once you establish trust, you will have success because trust is the root and source of action. If you go out to coffee with a prospect, you don't have to puke Plexus on them. Build that relationship with them. You may not even mention Plexus while you're at coffee, but you're building that relationship, that trust, and you're going to end up having a deep root that's going to lead to a source of action. You want to lead with your strengths. Embrace what you know. The other stuff is going to come. We don't know it all, but you need that confidence of doing what you do to keep going. So, on Thursday, I'm going to bring you part 2, which was day 2 of the Mastermind Conference. So I hope that you will tune in for day 2. And I really hope this has helped you to be inspired. We have so many people that are just waiting for us to lead them to be leaders. So thank you so much for joining me today. And I am just excited to see what you're going to do with your teams. Bye-bye.